Hello one, hello all, oh my god. I'm back, we're back in the dungeon. I literally had to dust off the microphone, the lights, the camera. It's been way too long. And you know what? I usually have some sort of script or like notes written down, but not today. Today I'm just gonna talk about Justice League until I run out of breath or until the end of the video, whichever comes first. You know what, DC? I'm triggered. Someone needs to tell DC that it's possible to make a dark and serious movie and still have it be good. They've done it in their own comic book series in The Dark Knight. We got three very grounded, very good movies, except for The Dark Knight in my own opinion. Or The Dark Knight Rises, I'm sorry. I personally felt like the last superhero movie we got before Justice League, which was Thor Ragnarok, I thought that was, in my own opinion, a little way too funny for for my liking. And Justice League coming around, I just wanted something different, you know? And what we've gotten before from DC was something different. We've gotten serious movies, a more serious take on things. And they completely flipped the script here, and I gotta tell you, that's one of my biggest letdowns. It was just, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a DC movie. And you know what? Some people are gonna be like, oh, when it was too serious, people were complaining. And now when it's a little more fluffy and a little more lighthearted, people are complaining. You know what? When I go into a DC movie, I kind of expected something to be a little more grounded. And I don't want every single movie out here to be the same. I'm ranting, but it's just how I felt. Watching this movie wasn't that bad. I will say that this movie is fun. There are some really good and interesting battle sequences, action sequences rather. The Flash can be fun at points. I don't really care though, I gotta be honest. When it comes to this movie and how DC have gone about things, it just can't be ignored that we just don't know any of these characters. We don't know the Flash. He gets a 5-minute intro. We don't know Cyborg. Does he get an intro? I mean, he gets a few scenes, but at the end of the day, he just does not matter. He doesn't even do anything in the movie. He's just there. Jason Momoa, Aquaman, was doing his thing. He looked cool. He was likable. It's just that, what do I get from him at the end of the day from this movie? It just wasn't enough. You could feel that they were just shoving a lot in your face to get these characters together, to gel them together, and then have this, have them go about things, saving the world or what have you. There was a lot of jump cuts from here to there and there and here, and I was just like, this needs to slow down. We need to stay in one place for a little bit. It was just ridiculous. I think that the biggest thing I can say for this is that it really has no weight to it. I mean, one of the best scenes for me was when Batman was going up against Wonder Woman, not fighting, but it was when they were having this argument between them two about Chris Pine's character in her own movie. And it was just a point in the movie where I was just like, wow, there's actually some weight to these characters, and there's actually some sort of conflict here. And that's a strong point in the movie, and I think that it's wasted. It's very quickly thrown under the rug. It's something that I need to point out because it's one of the only times in the movie where I was actually invested, where I felt like there's some sort of weight to this movie. It really feels run-of-the-mill, and I feel like I've thought that as soon as I walked out of the theater, and I was like, maybe I need to watch it again. It's just that there isn't enough setup for any of these characters. We really just throw them all together, and it's fun to watch, but who cares at the end of the day if Cyborg gets torn in half or if Flash gets ripped in half or something, or if Aquaman gets ripped in half. Getting back to Steppenwolf, they just handled him pretty well. He was a villain that was actually doing things. He was fighting the characters. He was taking on other characters and doing things to get his own plot done. But throughout the movie, I feel like he just gets his ass whooped. When they get to the final battle, it's kind of like an ass whooping. It's like, they just go there to whoop his ass and bully him. It's ridiculous, actually. If I could pick this thing apart and kind of figure out why it went wrong for me, it could probably be down to the fact that Joss Whedon had to take part or take over at a certain part in the movie and kind of change things around, because I feel like I said, being consistent with the other DCU films, Zack Snyder had his thing going, and I know I myself had said that Zack Snyder is not the greatest director. It's just that he brought style to the movies, and he brought something that I liked to the movies as well. It's just, and what I can say to also help this case is that we get a lot of very Avenger-esque type things in this movie that just didn't sit well with me, and maybe won't sit well with a lot of DCU fans. The fluffiness, and that's not a bad thing, you know, especially for Avengers, because that works for that type of movie. It does not work for this type of movie, especially when Superman's been so grim for the entire series, and then out of nowhere he's cracking one-liners. It just does not work, and you know, it's something that you could tell that Joss Whedon brought to the table. And like I said, if I were to break this thing down and see where it went wrong, I think that Joss Whedon damaged the movie more than he helped the movie. And there is a petition going around for the Zack Snyder version of this movie. We'll see what comes of that. All right. Before I run out of breath here, I just want to say my final verdict. It's one of those movies that you need to watch once. Not necessarily need to watch. It's one of those movies that you can watch once. Walk out, say you had a good time, and then never think about it again, because there's really no weight to it. And that's the best way I could put it. As far as the grade goes, it's very average. I don't hate this movie. Like I said, it's fun. It's just, I won't probably ever watch it again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Scoobingo. If you are new here, subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it. Get in the comments if you have something to say, if you have a different opinion. Let me know, because this movie, I feel like, is going to have that type of conflict. It's over. I'll run out of things to say. Maybe I just ran out of breath. Who knows? I'm going to turn off the camera now. Hasta luego.